Hello Forkies, this is day 122 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. Before we jump into today's game, I need to tell you that I've been recently streaming a lot on Twitch, and it would really help me out if you could go there and check out of my streams. I'm streaming quite regularly, pretty much every single week, and also give me a follow. It would help me out, and you will be able to see me live on Twitch as well. But now that everything's been set to go, we can have the game. Okay, we have the white pieces here. Let's play pawn to e4, of course, as always. Playing with the king's pawn, and he plays the Caro-Kann. It smells like the fantasy. Of course, f3 is the fantasy Caro-Kann, and it's just pretty much unbeatable if they take on e4, and they do. And I can say that we will probably win the game. And knight f6 is just played, which is a huge mistake already. Simply e5 is much better for white, almost winning already. Knight d7 is the best move, blocking in the bishop. Yes, knight d5 just allows me to play for c4 here. And I have this massive center, which is very bad. If you're a Caro-Kann player, you should know that you shouldn't let white have this giant center. So just knight c3, if c5, I of course play the move d5. Bishop f5. Now bishop d3 is the best move as far as I remember correctly. E6, and if c5, then I just play d5 once again. Yeah. Next move I'm talking about simply takes, and I have this big center, so simply knight f3, and yes, if c5, then simply d5 is much better for me. Now I guess we can castle, and if takes and then c5, then I can just take with the pawn back and have this massive attack here going on. So yeah, just castling, and now I also have the open f file to attack. If castle, simply knight g5, I think is much better. Also, like bishop g5, excuse me, should be better there. Um, but now this looks like it should lose the game immediately. Knight g5. I mean, what are you doing? Castles. I can just checkmate you, and if you play f6, I take on e6 and on g7 and win the game. So I think this is just completely losing now. For my opponent, I think we might see the move short castles and queen h7 mate on the board. My opponent might as well just resign the game. Because knight takes on f7 is a giant threat. If you play f6, like I said, knight takes on e6, and if you play queen e7, I could also give this check with a fork here. If you simply what? Why did I miss this? Knight takes on e5, of course, played. But I think it should just lose as well. I didn't actually see the move itself. I mean, I thought, I mean, the e5 pawn was just defended, and now I move the knight, and it's not defended any longer. And also, this pin opens up. I mean, this X-ray is now opened. But I think queen e4 attacking the knight, f6 has to be played. And then simply pawn takes, or even knight takes e6 and then takes should win. Here f6, knight takes on e6, I guess, and then takes on g7 and simply takes here. There is queen e2 to go to h5 perhaps. We have to be careful now. We have enough time. Let me think. Queen e4, f6 probably has to be played. Is there other move? Bishop d6 just takes the knight. Knight d7 back, knight takes f7 wins. So I mean, we can move the queen to c2, for example. I mean, we don't have to play. We can also just go to h3, I guess. So we don't need to attack the knight directly. Actually, queen h3 makes a lot of sense. Still attacking the h7 pawn. Oh, but then h7, h6 is played. Excuse me. No, but that doesn't really attack the rooks, the knight. So I can just take and take the rook if they take. So if I go here, then maybe h6 can be played. Takes and takes. So queen h3 disables, excuse me, the move h6, and if f6, then simply knight takes e6 and then takes here and wins the game. Yeah. Wait, there is also queen takes on d4, which I for some reason missed. King h1, and then f6. Maybe not the best. I mean, queen e4 has to be correct. f6 just takes and takes here wins, yeah? I mean, not necessarily. Here f6 I can probably just take as well like this. And just maybe win. I mean, the the point is that the pawn is hanging on d4, just queen e4, I think. I mean, I completely missed the idea of knight x on e5, if I'm completely honest. I mean, I just thought we were completely winning, completely cooking this guy, but apparently he is cooking us. I mean, f6 has to be played. Knight takes e6, then probably queen to e7 might be played. Um, and then what? Probably takes on g7 and then takes back, winning something. I guess. I mean, this looks fairly suspicious after f6 takes on g5. I mean, his king is still in the center and will not castle, so I guess that's my compensation for the pawn. If I will be down a pawn. Yes, I mean, f6 takes, I can play queen g4, regaining one of the pawns, I guess, with this idea of a double attack. Um, then bishop c5, king h1. I mean, why not? And the pawns are still hanging. f6, I think simply takes, and queen g4 with a double attack. This is, of course, cannot be allowed, so I guess queen e7. But then bishop takes on g5 comes with a tempo. Um, and my rooks are getting into center and will win the game, I think. I mean, I missed the idea, but what? Why are you allowing this? Knight g6 has to be giant mistake. Does he know that f7 is hanging? And then e6 is hanging as well after takes? But now we have to calm ourselves because this guy is pretty good. I mean, he found knight takes on e5. Does he have anything against knight takes on f7? c5? I take the queen. You have to move the queen. There is no check. There is no threat to the queen that can be made. So no, just knight takes f7. Rook f8. I take the queen. Take with the king. I don't know. I think my opponent might as well resign the game now because he's losing loads of material. At least an exchange. I mean, but a pawn as well on h7. Yes, he plays queen here, which doesn't threaten anything. There is takes here as well, which might be included, which might be good to include. But then knight e7 here and long castle. But I take your king, which is quite illegal. So queen takes. I mean, queen I can just trade and take. If bishop e7, I take here. Yes, I mean just takes. And bishop g5 maybe. We're also attacking the knight, so he has to take us. I guess then we could play queen g8. But the rook is defended. That might not be the best. After knight takes, queen g8, there is king d7, and the rook is defended and also defends the knight via x-ray, of course. But I think bishop g5, rook e1 wins the game. Okay, this hangs like everything. Firstly, we can take here, I guess. And after takes, just takes on c4, and we're up pretty much a rook and a piece, I think. So like everything. If I count, I think that is 8 points of material. I think. I mean, you have nothing. Um, yes, my opponent just resigns. Okay, it was a quick game. Let's analyze it now. So this is the game review of the game I just played. I played pretty great with 97% accuracy. I just missed one of the ideas, but it was fine for me. So my opponent played very badly with 75. Let's see the game now. So I played e4, c6 was played, the Caro-Kann defense, d4 and d5. And now instead of taking or playing e5 or knight c3, the casual theory, I played this tricky f3. And after f3, simply d takes on e4 is already quite nice for white because e5 has to be played. And if e5 is not played like in the game, which this is already a big mistake, knight f6, I can just play e5, knight d5, and c4. And after c4, knight b6 is usually played, and this is already bad after knight c3. Bishop f5 is already +2 apparently. Bishop d3 I thought was the best move, which is quite true. Bishop takes, queen takes, and now simply e6. And I have so much space in the center. I'm overdeveloped. I get knight to f3 castle, and the rook is open. So I played knight f3, bishop b4 was played, trying to develop somehow. I castled. My opponent played the move knight 8 to d7, and I played the move knight g5, which is the best move. It just I missed the move knight takes on e5. And here I thought for a while, and I found the best move queen e4. But I shouldn't have missed the move knight takes on e4, knight takes on e5. Excuse me. It's still very good for me because I get this queen e4 in. F6 I thought has to be played, and I would take, took, and play queen g4. And yes, this is +3, completely winning for me. Bishop is on the best move, but I take or play c5 even takes, and I go king h1, and this is so much better. Wow. I mean, yes, it's hard to play. So he played knight g6, and of course, simply knight takes on f7. Queen c7, no, queen takes on e6 firstly. Bishop e7, and I took. He played knight takes on c4. I simply took here, and my opponent just resigned because after h takes, I can take the free piece on c4. I would be up a rook and a piece, so my opponent simply resigned in the position after knight takes on g6. And it was a pretty quick game. I mean, I just completely crushed him. I played almost perfectly. But yes, it is quite common for me to win the first game of the video, but then to lose the second one. So now I will try to focus on the second game as well. I will do my best to win this game as well. We have another game. We have the black pieces in this one. E4 is played, and I will play my Caro-Kann defense, of course. Knight f3, simply d5. Takes and takes is quite okay. D4 is quite often as well. Knight f6 now. A bishop e5 is bad, I think. I thought about knight c6, knight e5, bishop d7 is fine, although I could also play bishop d7 here. Takes, knight e5, queen c7, castles, knight c6, and takes and takes. And then get the pawns to e6, bishop e7, castles. Bishop d7. Bishop d7 is not the best move. I just like. Now knight e5, of course. Okay, this is just. Castles is just quite bad. I play knight c6, and now you have pretty much nothing. Bishop d5, bishop e7, rook e1. I still play bishop e7 because I mean this pin is quite. It's nothing, but just castles, and we have this famous Carlsbad pawn structure on the board. And this is very nice for black. I can play a6, b5. I don't even need to think. Um, just don't take here because pawn takes and your knight is quite bad. Just queen c7, knight f3. He takes, which is unusual as well. Wait, now I have two pleasant choices. I mean, I can take with the pawn. I could also take with the queen here. This knight is, I mean, takes with the pawn allows me to play for c5 and c4 and a5 and a4. If I take with the queen, then b5, okay, but I like taking with the pawn. I usually take with the pawn in this kind of situations. Also, I have the diagonal now for my queen, and the bishop can go to f4. Now simply c5, which is quite straightforward. I want to break in the center. Now a3 is big mistake, by the way. I think a3 is a mistake because now b3 is very weak. You take, okay, so b4 is an idea after takes b4, but then you have to play for c4 at some point. Um, I mean b4 weakens the c3 square and pawn with it, of course. Um, you don't play for b4. Yes, this I thought he will do that. Um, which should lose somehow the game. No, I thought I have bishop f2, but then the knight is defended with the queen. But okay, because I could have a queen b6 here and e5. That was my idea, but doesn't work. I can go to d6. I could also go to e7. I think going to e7 makes more sense. And will just pressure the queen side here with my rooks, with my pawns, with my queen, also with my bishop, with my knight on e4. Bishop g5, yes, that's why I put the bishop on e7. This is probably the idea. Um, Now which rook to put on b8? Well, certainly the rook from a8. Yeah, I think that's logical because the other rook will go to c8. Probably that's my idea. Um, Wait a second. This move looks like quite a big mistake, by the way. The knight is quite vulnerable here. This was my ultimate idea to play knight for some. I think knight for right away and takes. I take with the queen, and my position is amazing. F2 is quite weak. F2 very weak pawn as well. I have this diagonal for myself. Um. So yes, he plays the move 94, but he still cannot push. I mean, oh, c4 might be actually a target. I mean, a desired pawn push because I cannot take, of course. I think queen a7. Yes, of course. Knight c6 is a threat, but I think just queen c7. Um, c4 I just take with the queen. Then maybe knight f6. And I like this endgame. My opponent, by the way, has 9 minutes. He's playing way too quickly. If I can get the pawn maybe to a4, um, the knight gets to b3, then I just win, I guess. Um, Queen d3. I didn't really think that he will play that. I get the knight to a4, which is very strong. Queen g3 I just take. a6 was also hanging, so this is quite a natural move to play. Knight c5. Queen e2, knight a4 runs into queen takes, but that definitely is much better endgame for me after probably knight takes here. Be careful though. Maybe I'll lose the game there. So queen e2 is played, yes. This is quite important, I guess. There is a lot of candidate moves here. For example, just rook b6. This is first one that comes to mind. Just defending the pawn, trying to double up, and I think it's the most reasonable. If I play knight a4, trying to force the issue, queen takes on a6, and then I take and knight b5. I need to calculate that. Probably I go queen b4, but then you take me, and then I lose, I guess. Although the queen is probably getting trapped as well. Yeah, I don't want to even think about it. Although I thought I saw something here. I mean, knight takes b2, knight b5. I go queen c4. You take me. I play rook a8. You have to play queen b7. I play rook b8. Queen c7, trying to trade the queen, but I take, and the rook is hanging on b2. But my rook is also hanging on a8, so that's not good. Um, I think rook b6 before I go knight e4. Rook b6. Am I missing something? And I also defend some threats, although I'm quite defended here. But yeah, c6 is maybe a weakness to try to pressure with f4, f5. Um, Not yet, of course. But yes, my pieces are ultimately better placed. I mean, b2 pawn extremely weak. I'm doubling up on the b file, and when b pawn moves forward, then a pawn and c pawn are both weaknesses once again. Um, because the crucial the crucial pawn on the queen side is definitely the one on b2 defending all the pawns, all the rest pawns here. So I need to focus so that I don't make a stupid mistake. For example, c4 now I think just c4 is probably a good move here. C4 probably a very good move. I need to see what I will do against it. I mean, I could allow this definitely. Is it what I want? Probably not. Probably not. 94 takes and takes. Then, yeah, c4 played. Very nice move. I mean, takes also doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. So 94, I like it. Um, knight a4, I also like knight a4. Queen d6 is something I wanna do. So let me think. I have enough time. Also, rook d8 is probably just playable. Rook d8 takes and takes. Rook c1 then. I take the knight. Rook d8 b4. Oh, b4 is an idea. Aye. B4 is the idea of c4. Of course. So logical. Um, very logical play. B4 and then c5. Great that I took my time here. Very important moment, by the way. 94 looks correct. But after rook c1, I'm not sure. A5, on the other hand, also looks fine. But b4 happens. Still. I don't have time. I don't have time. C4 is a great move. Queen b7, b4. Queen b7, b4. You're not attacking my knight. I'm not sure this is great. B4 doesn't attack the knight. Um, but yes, not probably not the best. I wanna a5. Then there is b5. 94, I think. Going here. Hmm. Wait. I just trapped my rook. How is this even possible? I was completely fine the whole game and then I blundered my rook. But wait, it's not. Yes, but it is because you take with the rook. I'm also lost on time, probably. This is still a threat, so yes, he finds it. Um, I mean, my knight not that bad, by the way. I have three great move here, I think, and I'm just losing the game on time as well. On the board on time everywhere. I mean, I always manage to lose the second game somehow. Not sure how though. I was completely fine. I missed. I took like 2 minutes on playing Queen B7, and it's just a massive mistake. Didn't spend the time well. I mean, I am kind of trying to hold if I can get. Yes, that's. If I can get the something to a4 to block everything, and the knight to d6 somehow. Um, to hold here as well. Then b5 is also just too weak. But yes, my idea is to get the knight to d6, to get the queen to b7, and to get the rook here. But even then, or the knight to c4. How can I do that? I can't. If I can get the knight to c4, this is still not a threat. I mean, now I'm keeping all the. Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. Big problems in ahead of me. Now that a4 is prevented, I get the knight to c4 or to d6. I mean, I guess if the knight reaches d6, I'm pretty okay with myself as well. He prevents it, but I go here f5. I just now he is having a lot of weak pawns. I'm creating some threads, by the way. 1 minute 50 seconds. This is a big thread. Once again, probably that's not a threat even. Definitely, it's not a threat. I just blundered the pawn. What am I doing? I guess I have knight c4. Just play queen a6. Man, why did I do that? Think. Queen b5, knight c4, queen d6. I lose a pawn. I lose the game. Um, and just b7. I cannot stop the pawn. Think. So here, I lose the game. Now you can just take the pawn. It's free. Shouldn't have blundered. I mean, I guess I have some hope, but this endgame is of course just completely lost. Otherwise, I think I was holding. If not for queen a7. I mean, if I play queen a6, he doesn't go for it. What? Is this even good? I don't think so. Why? I can hold this position with 30 seconds. I mean, I won't go for it. Firstly, queen a6, so I get the. Now, if knight d4 is allowed, and now I hold. Um, Wait, maybe I'm. He doesn't go for it. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, okay, what's this? You have to do something, man. Otherwise, defend, take. Now I get in with check, but I should lose the game now. These pawns are just too strong. If I can push these two pawns, maybe. Maybe this is equal, but I don't have time to figure this one out. If I can push. Queen b8. Queen d6 doesn't work. I didn't expect this. Okay, 50 seconds left. I have this check, for example. This is my idea. If I can get queen d6, I take. Go for it. I have to go for it. I have to go for it. I have to go for it. Oh my god, 45 seconds. Queen f4, I think it's a mistake. So is this. No, what? Now I should be winning. or I'm not sure what I should be doing. Queen f4, and here I go check and win the pawn, or this 44. I'm pretty okay in bullets, so I have to. I'm 2200 in bullets, so I have to show this skill now. What? Queen d6, I can take. Oh, I lost the pawn. Fuck. Of course he finds it. But now we are even, but he has the two connected passers, so I will probably lose. No, now I'm shit. I blundered the pawn on G7. Great. I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, insane. The game was a draw. Okay, let's analyze the game now. So this is the game review of the game I just played. I played very badly with 80, so did my opponent. But I lost in the end. So he played e4, c6, d4. No, he played knight f3. Excuse me. D5 he took, and played d4, knight f6, and bishop b5, which is the line. I played bishop d7, which was fine. Takes and queen takes, of course. And now knight e5 was the best, attacking my queen, but he simply castled. So now knight c6. No, knight gets to e5 because I take now. Um, so yeah, c3, e6 was played. Um, Rook e1, if I remember correctly, as bishop e7. H3 castles, knight vd2, and I'm just better here. I mean, there is no way around it. A6, b5 as an idea. 95, of course, takes is bad because I have to play like 98 here. And then f4, f5 comes, and I probably am much worse. So I played queen c7, and after takes, I took with the pawn, which was the correct decision. I spent quite some time here, deciding whether or not to take with the queen and then play for b5, b4, excuse me. I took with the pawn, which I think is quite reasonable, and c5 now takes, and I'm better. Knight b3, bishop e7, bishop g5, rook b1, knight e4, slight mistake. I mean, takes. I thought the position was much better for me. Now knight c5, and after queen e2, I probably made the first mistake, which was to play rook b6. Now c4 happens, and I'm wow. There is only one move not to be worse. It's quite hard to play. The move queen f4. The idea is logical. Knight f3 I take, yeah. And if takes, of course it's a draw. Knight 3 takes, I guess, and then takes on b2 probably with the knight. And I'm better. Definitely I'm better, but no, I mean it's probably equal. I played the move queen b7, which is it's not much worse. It's +5, plus 0.5 because of b4, of course. Now the best move is d takes on c5, queen takes, and I didn't really get what. Oh, but I'm not allowing the move c4, c5 to happen. Yes, now 94 is just losing, of course. Just allow c5. Did he play c5? Oh my god, did he play c5? Really? Am I just for real? He played c5, and I thought I have to move the rook. I thought I have to move the rook, but the idea of playing, excuse me, the idea of playing queen b7 was that I can take. I missed that, and I just thought I have to give away the exchange. Now I was trying to find a setup. The knight on d6, which was achieved, the rook on a4, and it's still breakable. The position, I mean, just take the pawn. By the way, just take the pawn, man. My opponent didn't take the pawn. He played here, and I didn't wanna play knight d4 because I thought that my position will get completely bad after c5, c6. But I mean, I had 1 minute, so I didn't go for it. I saw the fork, by the way. I saw the fork, but I just didn't want to go for it. Um, Now he played f5, allowing knight takes on before. And I come in with check, and now the game is equal. Again, I played queen a6, takes. Queen c6, nothing special. We were shuffling around. The game is equal. And now white is slightly better. Still equal, still equal, still equal, still equal. And now I'm winning with e5, which is quite hard to believe. And with no, this is the only winning move. I played queen d5. I didn't have time. King e3, I took the pawn on h5, he took back, and queen h3. Oh, wait, trading off. I didn't really thought this was smart because I mean it's probably equal. It's a draw. It's a draw. Yes, it's a draw. Um, but I cannot move my king. So, for example, he goes here, I go here, I go here, and now g5 only drawing move except for king d7. Why? Well, after king e4, I can just wait. You go here, and now e5. I go up. It's and now I have to play e4. Um, because these two pawns won't promote itself. You can just wait, for example, but now it's still equal. Eh? Yeah. Okay. This engine just doesn't know what's happening, and the idea is you cannot take because I promote. I promote. I make a queen. Um, but where were we? So yes, I played queen g5 here, which was bad. Check here, check here, and I played queen c7. Now I'm losing the pawn on b5. I should have played probably like queen b8 even. Um, it's equal, yes. I played queen c7, however, losing the pawn, and now after queen g2, I simply didn't see what he was attacking. I played queen a7 for some reason, and after queen g7, I just resigned. Yes, I mean it's just completely lost. I'm losing the queen when I move my king, and I lost the second game, but I won the first one. That happens so many times. I'm not sure why. My position was just okay. I blundered then the exchange. My opponent just blundered the pawn. I didn't see it. Yeah, it was a horrendous game, but here we are. At the end of day 122. Let me go full screen for the outro. So yes, if you haven't already, it would really help me out if you can check out my Twitch channel. Follow me there as well, so you can see when I'm live on Twitch. And yes, if you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. I will be reading and answering all of your comments. And as always, if you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.